Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back to another episode. In today's episode, well, you already know what we're talking about. It's go time. You need to get out before it's too late. All right? And this past Saturday was a big wake up call to a lot of us out there. Well, a lot of you guys more than anything else, the ones that haven't left the USA just yet. And yeah, you know what I mean? Like the alarms are sounding. It is go time. It's either shit or get off the pot. Or one way or the other. You got to start making a decision what you're gonna do. And I know it's not easy. I get it. You know what I mean? This is why I talk about what I talk about on this channel, on the live streams that I do, and so on and so forth. And well, I'm gonna tell you my own story as to what happened to me after Saturday's event. Just like a lot of you guys, had a big kind of like wake up call, life change, whatever it is, because of what happened this past Saturday, and it's turning to become real. Or really, things are starting to get really real. I myself personally, just talking about the channel before we get into it. I myself personally, obviously, I think most of us were somewhat shaken, one shape, form, or another, about what happened on Saturday. Again, before I even get started, I am not pro-Trump. I am not pro-Biden. I am not pro-anything, all right? I am pro-freedom. I am pro-USA, the United States of America. I'm pro-liberty. I'm pro, all those things. And you in the audience make whatever you will out of that information, okay? That's it. Okay, I don't vote. I don't get involved. I don't, again, the whole thing is corrupt. The whole thing is bad. Again, look at even the shirts that I wear. Okay, I bought this in Oaxaca, and it says right there, it's a TV, as you guys can see, and in Spanish it says medios de manipulación y dominación. So basically, this is just a medium, okay, to manipulate and dominate you. Okay, so again, that's what it says right there. I'll never forget when I got this in Oaxaca. It was in the middle of the pandemic. We went out there, and they were very, very anti, that whole agenda over there. So obviously, someone was selling this out of a stall, in Oaxaca, and I bought it because this and other shirts, kind of like this. But I digress. Just to let you know. In fact, if you guys want to know a lot more about my real opinions as to what I think, happened on Saturday and so on and so forth. Things that I cannot discuss on this channel, but I can discuss on my other channel, and I will as soon as I'm done here with this live stream. But I just think, I'll show you guys real quick, about this. Oh, before I got some new footage out there to show you guys, FYI. Okay, hold on. You know me. It's a live stream. This is why I like live streams, because they're all over the place. And, okay, there we go. Boom. So again, here's the link to my channel. I'm going to provide it in the chat for anyone out there that's interested. But we're going to be really talking about what I really think over there later on today. But in the meantime, we got things to talk about on this channel. Okay, we have a lot of things that we have to talk about. Mainly the fact that, well, like I said, at the beginning of the show, it's go time. For a lot of you guys out there that have been sitting on the fence with your decision as to what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. Well, I feel like because of what happened on Saturday, it basically gave you that last kick in the butt to, again, move forward with whatever plan you were going to move on. Now, I asked you guys on the channel, we had a poll. You know how I like to do my polls on this channel. So I had a poll earlier on this week on Monday. Asking you guys, how this has changed your plans or not changed your plans. It seems like for most of you guys out there, it really hasn't changed your plans. You're obviously still moving to Mexico. If anything, for most of you guys, it's changed your plans where now you're moving even quicker, faster to get out of Dodge, to get out of where you're at right now and come out to Mexico or wherever you're going to. I've heard some people are going to Cambodia, Thailand, whatever. It doesn't matter. You know what you need to do for your own life and your own personal situation. But yeah, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, we've talked about this on this channel multiple times in the past, where each and every day it's just going to get harder and harder, again, more difficult each and every day for you to get out of your country. USA or Canada, depending on where you're listening to me from. Before I even started the live stream today, I've already had a few people in the chat. Shout out to 300 Rivers and Jesse. They were having a conversation. And Jesse basically said, it's getting harder to get the visa. The consulates are requiring things that aren't even on the list of requirements. I qualify financially. Now they want a letter from my employer saying I can work remotely, even though I told them I'm about to retire. So again, we've talked about this multiple times. This has been affecting more the people in Canada than anything else. But if you're going to get your temporary or permanent residency through the Mexican consulate, in your home country, they're making it more difficult each and every day. It's not even about them raising the financial status, the financial amount, the money. It's not even about raising how much money you need to have to move out here. It's not even about that. I've talked to you guys about this. For years, I told you that a day would come in the future where it didn't matter if you meet all the requirements. They're just simply straight up going to tell you to your face, no, we're not going to give it to you. No, you don't qualify. Hey, you know what? Now you need these other things that are not even on the list. But hey, our director of this consulate says that now you got to show, all the vaccination papers for your dog, or your cat, or whatever insanity that they will pull out of their ass in order to make it even more difficult for you to get your residency through the traditional way of going to a consulate, improving your financial solvency, and so on and so forth. But for those of you guys out there in the audience that are still not aware of the fact that you can actually get your residency in Mexico through a multitude of different ways. Financial solvency is just one of the ways, okay? So don't forget that. So if for whatever reason, like again, 300 Rivers, Jesse, and others cannot get their residency through financial solvency, not because you don't meet the financial minimum, but because of other reasons that they just keep, again, throwing out and just trying to, throwing out at you in order to dissuade you or, again, convince you otherwise that you cannot get your residency. Again, there are other ways. So look, the best route in order for you to get your residency these days is to get it through the RNE program. Okay, so for many people out there, again, just like Jesse, sorry if I'm picking on you, Jesse, it's just, you were in the chat talking about it, but there's many people out there in the audience that meet all the financial requirements. In fact, you meet the financial requirements and then some. You have more requirements than they ask for, okay? And yet you still get denied. So this is happening more and more to people, and we don't want to speculate as to what could be causing this, but we've talked about it multiple times that the Mexican consulates, okay, they are all their own sovereign entities. And even though they work off of the rules of Mexico, of the Mexican immigration rules, the reality is that they get to dictate whatever they want, and some consulates are very easy for you to get your residency. Basically, they ask for a few things. You meet those requirements, you go, you get your residency, you're good to go. But increasingly, more and more each day, even if you meet those requirements, they have more requirements, or they ask for more money, or they ask for more things, and it's just becoming increasingly difficult to the point where, it's making it almost impossible for many of you to get your residency. So in this case, this is where it is highly recommended that you get it through the RNE program. Okay? Now, again, if you've never been to Mexico, getting it through the RNE program is going to take a little longer and is going to be a little bit more difficult, quote unquote, for you to get, but it's not impossible. In fact, it's the easiest way. But if you have traveled to Mexico, okay, in the last 10 years, you qualify. So as of today, okay, 2024, all right, we're in July 2024. So as of right now, in order for you to qualify, that means that you would have to have an entry, okay, on your passport, okay? And again, if you have a stamp on your passport, great. But if your entry is just in the Mexican computer, let's say you came in here into Mexico through a cruise ship and you don't have a stamp on your passport, it doesn't matter. You're in the computer. You went through immigration, okay? Anyways, all I'm saying is that if you've been to Mexico, okay, from 2012 all the way till 2022, to 10 years, okay? So from 2012 to 2022, okay? January 1st of 2012 all the way up until December 31st, 2022. So if you have at least one entry into Mexico between that time span, you qualify to get residency like that, like immediately. All you got to do is go to immigration. Probably a lot easier if you hire a facilitator to help you with this process. But long story short, you prove that you've been here, okay, which is on the computer already, all right? You pay some fees, fill out some paperwork, and I think that's about it. I mean, I'm sure there's one or two little things here and there, but it's very minimal things. And that's all you need in order to get your 4-year temporary residency. Once that 4-year temporary residency has expired, then you qualify automatically for your permanent residency. That's it. That's it. So if you're out there in the audience and you have financial stability, meaning you have the finances, okay, to prove to the consulate that you, okay, can afford to live in Mexico, then you have enough money to travel to Mexico. So if you go to the consulate right now and they're denying you, all right, and there's no consulate that will give you an appointment, you cannot get your residency through the consulate, through the traditional way, well, my advice to you, okay, is to travel to Mexico. Because the minute you travel to Mexico for the first time, the clock starts ticking. And basically from that moment, okay, you got 2 years before you can apply for your residency. All right, so right now, let's just say that you come to Mexico for the first time ever and you get your passport stamped for the first time ever entering Mexico, again, July of 2024. Well, you cannot get your residency through the RNE program until January 1st of 2026. Okay? Because you got to wait a certain amount of time before that happens. But if let's say that 4 years ago you came out to Mexico on vacation, or you just crossed into Tijuana to get some tacos and visit, Hong Kong, whatever it is you did, who cares? All right. But if you have a stamp on your passport at some point within the years of 2012 all the way to 2022, then that's it. That's all you need. But if you don't have that stamp yet, or your stamp is, in 2023 or in 2024, then you have to wait the allotted amount of time. So if you got your stamp in 2023, then you have to wait till January 1st of 2025. If you got your stamp in 2024, then that means you got to wait till January 1st of 2026. And that's to get it through the R&E program. Okay, the easiest way. All right. Another way is that you can get married. Another way is that you can get sponsored, by a company. All right, in order to get a work visa. Sorry, I was trying, make sure I got it. Anyways, you get a work permit. You get a work permit, and through that work permit, you get your temporary visa. Okay, so that's another way. So there's multitude of ways. Okay, there's other ways. You can get it through family structure. Okay, let's say that you and your wife, you cross into Mexico. You have a baby in Mexico. Well, that baby is automatically a Mexican citizen. Well, guess what? Since that is your baby and it's a Mexican citizen, well, now you can get residency and eventually citizenship because your family member, aka your child, got residency. Or let's say down the, at some point in your history, you have family members, okay, that were Mexican or whatever it is. That's another way to get it. So there's many ways to get it, okay? Many ways to get it. Do not give up do not give up after you get bad news saying that, hey, you don't qualify at the consulate. Okay, fine. You don't qualify at the consulate. That doesn't mean that you can't get residency. Again, ask all those immigrants, that are crossing through Mexico and going into the USA, how they got their residency. Okay, most of them don't even have a passport and they got residency. So what makes you think that you cannot get residency? But that's another story for another day. At the end of the day, it's a lot. Again, of course, it has you had to go through bureaucracy. Depending on who you are and what your situation is, it could be a little bit more difficult, okay, to get that residency, but you can get residency. It's as simple as that. Again, I got my residency, okay, because I got married. I got married, I got my temporary residency, and eventually I got my permanent residency. But if I never would have gotten married and I would have been here illegally, all right, and I would have, had to do border runs, because that's the only way I could have stayed in Mexico legally, is that I had to go to the border, okay, and do a border run and then get a brand new tourist visa, brand new FMM. Anyways, I would have done that until eventually I would have qualified for the R&E program. So I probably, if I never got married, if I never would have met Christian, I probably would have just down the line gotten my residency through the R&E program. But since I got married, I got it through family structure, and basically I got married, and then within a few weeks I was already in immigration, and before I knew it, I got my residency. It didn't take that long. In fact, I got married, and then the pandemic started, and that's what kind of put a stop to that, and I wasn't able to get my card. I wasn't able to get my paperwork for almost a year because of the shutdown. But in the meantime, even though I didn't have any paperwork, I was already a resident. Okay, but I could go on and on. So long story short, the reason I'm talking so much about residency is because this is, again, what are we talking about in today's video? We're talking about you need to get out before it's too late. And one of the major concerns that people have is residency. Because again, it's all good and gravy. Hey, I'm escaping. I'm leaving the USA. I'm leaving Canada. I'm going to Mexico. But if you don't have your immigration situation figured out, well, how long are you going to actually be here? But again, your immigration situation can be easy to figure out. It can simply be do what I did, which I came out here on a tourist visa. And once it expired, I renewed it. And I was just doing visa runs, okay, until eventually, I got married and got married temporary. But in your case, again, if you come out right now in July of 2024, you're going to get a 6-month residency. Okay, sorry, a 6-month tourist visa, which will act as a residency, but it's not really a residency. It's just, it allows you to be in this country for 180 days to live in this country. You don't have to just do tourism, okay? An FMM is basically a blank visa. It's just most people use it for tourism. Anyways, I digress. You come into Mexico, get your 180-day visa. By the time you have to renew it, it's the end of the year or next year, early January, all right? So again, you're coming in July of 2024. You come in 180 days later is January 2025. All right. Then July of 2025, you got to renew it again. Okay. So that's 2 visa runs, right? And by the time you go on your 3rd visa run, they're going to be telling you, hey, listen, we're not going to give you 180 days. We're only going to give you a month. Because according to our paperwork, you qualify for the R&E program. So we're not going to give you 180 days. We don't want you to keep, doing these visa runs. Go on ahead. You got plenty of time to go to immigration and get your residency, because you basically live here because you keep doing visa runs. And we again, there's plenty of proof that shows you've been living here on a tourist visa. So now go get your real visa. That's it. You know what I mean? So again, I don't understand what all these other channels and all these other people, out there on the internet talk about, making this such a difficult thing or such a difficult process or something to be scared of. There's nothing to be scared of. Nothing. Again, if you overstay your visa, the most that's going to happen is that you got to go to the immigration office at the airport or wherever, at the border, to wherever you're going, and pay the fine. You got to pay a fine because, again, you did a bad no-no, which is overstay your visa. And you just, they tell you, don't do it again. You got to pay us whatever, 1,000 pesos. Bye. See you later. And then you come back like the next day, to get, you have to cross the border again to get your new visa. They don't care. It's not like the USA, okay? They don't have, Mexican ICE agents, shaking Americans down so that they don't come back into Mexico. No. Okay, that's not how it works. Okay, so hopefully that should answer all your residency questions. Okay, all right. If I didn't answer your residency questions, please feel free to ask me again. All right. So I'm gonna go through the chat. By the way, if you have any questions, go on ahead and ask me. I'm all ears today. I'm here to answer any questions, any last minute questions about your move to Mexico. Because look, one thing I was kind of struggling with up until this past weekend was, the things I'm doing on the channel, because I'm making all kinds of content. I mean, you should look at my desk right now. You know what I mean? It's a mess. I got post-it notes of every single color, all over the place. I got ideas. I got notebooks filled. I got whatever, all this stuff. And I'm trying to make the best possible videos and content for you guys that I can. But one thing that I realized is that, again, up until this past weekend, I was basically, in a bit of a funk because I wanted to, still provide the same information that I provide for you guys, but also, again, give you guys something new, something awesome, something better, new information, new whatever. But, some of this stuff, you know how it is. This is the information. That's what it is. It's not really going to change much. So with that being said, I myself, as soon as this event happened, my wake up call was the fact that, I have to do more. I got to do more on my end. Okay, maybe make more videos, more content, give you more information. Just make it easier to get this information out there. And again, it's all about repetition. Wash, rinse, repeat. Wash, rinse, repeat. And they just keep doing that because there's so many people out there that need to know this information. Just like the information I just shared with you about the residency, there's tons of other information out there that sometimes I forget because I'll do one video on it and I figured, I already talked about that topic. I don't need to do that again. But then I realized, I made that video a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. There's plenty of people out there that haven't heard that information. And I got to do it again. Or I got to do it from a different angle. Or I got to provide more information, whatever it is. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on going forward. You know what I mean? Which basically, it doesn't mean that the channel's changing. It's not changing at all. If anything, I'm just going to give you more information and be more open. Again, I'm pretty open already. I answer all the questions, all the comments in the comment section, all kinds of things. I try my very best to answer everything and talk to most of you guys and give you as much valuable information as I can. All right. With that being said, in 2 weeks, okay, so August 1st, so that's 2 weeks from today, Jose Novello, the lawyer, our friend, the lawyer. Some of you guys have worked with him. Some of you guys haven't. Regardless, he is coming back on the show, and we're going to do an open question and answer session. Okay, so get your questions ready. And by the way, even though we are planning to do it August 1st, sometimes things happen. Remember, he is a lawyer that is practicing right now, working, so sometimes he has to cancel and he can't do it on Thursday. He has to do it on Wednesday or Friday or whatever. So just kind of know that in 2 weeks he's going to come on the show. And don't forget to have the bell icon, your notifications set, all that stuff ready, subscribe, so that way when I do go live, when he does come on the show, you'll know. You can also always, another thing you can always do is go to my channel. Okay, and on my channel, you're going to see right there, upcoming live streams. So I'll have it there, and it'll also be constantly updated. So for example, if he can't make it Thursday, but he can only show up on Wednesday, it'll be displayed there. Okay, and so on and so forth. All right, so he's coming in 2 weeks with even more information because, one thing is, me telling you all this stuff, me with my horse, whatever. But another thing is an actual lawyer. Someone that actually studied Mexican law, practices Mexican law, and is dealing with this and other factors, on a constant basis. It's better for him, Jose Novello, to actually answer those questions. All right. So that way it's not left up for interpretation. Oh, it's just some dumbass gringo. Oh, it's just some dumbass YouTuber. Well, yeah, right now it is, But when he's on the show, well, it adds more validity to the information because, well, his license and his work depend on it. So he can't be out there just, spitting lies. It all has to be legal and it all has to be facts. So that's why I like to bring him on the show, and I like to do the live streams, and I like to, have him, answer your questions because there's a bunch of questions that I can't answer. I just don't know everything, Not that he knows everything, but he knows a lot. Okay, so but anyways, but yeah, if you guys have any questions, please, and if I don't see your question, ask it again, leave a super chat, even like $1, you know what I mean? Whatever, so that way maybe I can see it, you know, just in case. I know there's a lot of you guys out there, but no need to send anything, all right? Hilde says, what do you tell those that say that isn't worth to move because of the Mexican peso? Listen, for anyone that's just coming to Mexico, okay, to save a few bucks, don't come to Mexico. Don't. You know what I mean? Like, stay where you're at. You can probably find something just as cheap or cheaper there, or move to another country. You know, there's plenty of countries. I get reminded of this fact all the time by plenty of people leaving comments on my channel, you know, talking about like, oh, why do you keep talking about Mexico? There are other places that are cheaper. Okay, but that's not what I talk about on this channel. I don't talk about, you know, cost of living every single video. In fact, I do that once every 6 months, maybe, you know. I don't really talk about that much. Why is that? Well, because the reality is that living in Mexico is a lot more than just cost of living. Okay, the reality is that, and by the way, I'm going to be talking about this more in future episodes, even though I recently talked about it in my cost of living episode. But look, long story short, you know what I mean? Like, this is something that I'm actually, you know, in the middle of doing a video now, you know, for the future, you know, talking about this topic. But the reality is this. The reason that my expenses a month are around $1,500 a month, okay, it's simply because I don't have 3 major things that most Americans do that would cause my expenses to balloon past $1,500. So, for example, my rent for my humble home is around $300. Now, I can 100% for sure get myself a nice, fancy home, like super fancy, all the bells and whistles, you know, every single thing, you know, that you would want, okay, out of a really nice house. And it's going to cost me $1,300, $1,500, $1,000, whatever. So now all of a sudden, okay, instead of my rent just being $300, now it's $1,300, $1,500, $1,000. So right there, you know, I went from $1,500 in expenses to close to $3,000. Okay, that's just by increasing my rent. Okay, now let's say that I were to have a car. Okay, and maybe I'm paying a car note. Well, that's going to increase that. Okay, and I'm driving around a lot. Gas is expensive. I got to get insurance. Not just for the car, but a lot of people want to get insurance. I don't have insurance. I don't have medical insurance. Again, knock on wood, nothing happens. But I don't have medical insurance. I don't have life insurance. I don't have anything. In fact, I don't even have car insurance on the car right now, only because we're working on it. I had to renew my insurance policy, but I'm like, you know what? For what? You know what I mean? Once we get the truck running again, then I'll renew my insurance policy. Why am I going to pay for it now for no reason? But long story short, once you start adding all that up, it gets over $3,000. And so a lot of people in the U.S. are like, well, wait a minute, you know, that's my expenses in the U.S. right now. Why move to Mexico? Well, again, there's many reasons to move to Mexico. Right now, what are we talking about? What's going on in the USA right now? Isn't the USA about to blow up? Isn't the USA about to go to civil war? Didn't they almost kill the president, ex-president, whatever? I mean, and then the other president can't even, you know, climb the stairs, and he's, you know, shitting his pants every 5 minutes. And look, at the end of the day, the USA is not in a good spot right now. So a lot of people are leaving because, well, they simply want to leave, you know, the political climate. They want to leave the toxic environment that they're in. A lot of them, you know, want or have kids, you know, they have a family. They want to have their family, you know, be raised in a better environment, you know. So a lot of them are like, well, you know what, maybe I'll just go to Mexico. You know, they'll have a better quality of life there. You know, I can raise my kids there better. I can afford. Again, I can send them to the fanciest of fancy schools out here, and it's not going to cost me as much, okay, as it would in the USA. And I could go on and on. You know, there's many reasons. You know, a lot of people want to move for freedom. You know, a lot of people are done, you know, with all the rules and regulations and the Karens telling them what to do, what they can't do, whatever it is. You know, the young punk at freaking Walmart, telling you while you are bagging your own groceries that you can't use more than one bag. You know, you live there. I don't. Okay. So there's many reasons. You know, a lot of people don't want to live there anymore. And so, well, you know, a lot of people are moving to Mexico. And yeah, Mexico can be just as expensive as the USA assuming you want to live exactly like you did in the USA. But again, the major thing about living here is that you don't have to deal with all those extra things that you deal with in the USA. You just don't. Okay. And on top of that, you're right next door. So if you still got family, friends, whatever in the USA, well, they're right there. You know, you can call them and you're on the same time zone, basically. You can even visit them or they can come visit you. But if you're out there in Cambodia, Thailand, wherever, I mean, even a phone call, you know what I mean? It's like, what? You're going to call at 3 in the morning just so they can call, so that you can talk to them at 3 in the afternoon? Who the hell's going to go visit you in freaking Cambodia or what is there, Indonesia? Or I'm sure it's beautiful and amazing there. But again, try learning Thai. You know, try learning any one of these Asian languages. It's a lot easier to learn Spanish. In fact, a lot of you guys already know Spanish in, you know, one shape, form, or another. You know, you at least know the Taco Bell menu, for crying out loud. Come on now. You know, so, or you work with some Hispanics at one of your jobs. Right? Because, you know, unemployment is at historic lows in the USA, but that's because each one of you has like 3 or 4 jobs. So at one of your jobs, I'm sure you can, you know, you can find someone that you can practice Spanish with. Look, the point I'm making is that most people are moving to Mexico for just a better quality of life, a higher quality of life these days, and they're willing to pay a premium for it. You know, so that's a reality of it. Because again, when I go to the grocery store, a lot of times, and I keep it simple at the house, but you know, I still buy certain things that I like. You know what I mean? And you know, they might be a little bit expensive. You know, like coffee. You know, whatever. You know, these are luxuries, believe it or not. And, you know, my bills, you know, every month, you know, I'm sure that my bills are less than they are in the USA. But I mean, I see what people pay for eggs and people pay for, you know, coffee and other things in the USA. And I sometimes I see it's like, man, wait a minute. Why am I paying more for coffee than they are? Or why am I paying more for eggs than they are? Or why is the same price? Or whatever. Okay. So all these things, okay? But at the end of the day, I would never want to go back to the USA, especially now. Are you kidding me? As each day goes on, the less I want to go back home. So yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, that's why I stay here. Now, if I could afford it, I would pay for a better place. But right now, I can only afford $300 in rent. So that's why I live where I live. You know what I mean? But at some point, you know, as what I do on YouTube and all the other endeavors that I do, as I get, you know, make more money doing the things that I love, as I keep, you know, investing in myself and my career, you know, me and Christian just, you know, keep moving on up. Well, yeah, okay, then eventually at some point I'll be able to rent, you know, a place, you know, that's going to be maybe $1,000 a month, but I'll be able to afford it, you know, and I'll be living nicer. But at the end of the day, right now, even if I can only afford $300 in rent, well, that's fine. You know what I mean? I still don't got to deal with the political turmoil. I don't got to deal with the toxicity. I can have my freedom. I can afford to go to the park, to go to the beach, to go bowling, to go to the movies, I can go out to dinner. I can do all kinds of things. You know, we go on date night. You know, we do all kinds of things. You know, we have emergencies. You know, me and Christian have been sick, you know, last couple of weeks. You know, sickness is going around. You know how it is. And, you know, we can go to the doctor. You know, we can get a test done, you know, to make sure, you know, it is what it is. And I can't afford to even go to a doctor in the USA. You know, I can't even afford to buy some Robitussin if that's what I need. You know, come on now. So, you know, in fact, you want to go cheap, you can go to Japan. You know, as far as I know, Japan's extremely cheap right now. You know what I mean? You know, there's plenty of places, you know what I mean, that are cheap. You know, if that's all you're looking for, there are better options out there. But if you're looking for, again, you know, all these other things that I was mentioning, plus a culture that is very familiar. You know, I'm not familiar with Thai. You know, I'm familiar with Thai cuisine, but that's about it. I don't know anything about that. But I know a lot about Mexican culture, Mexican people, Mexican food, Mexican everything. Again, I don't know anything. I'm constantly learning about Mexico while living here, but it's a lot easier, you know, for me to know these things. And in my case, I know Spanish, you know. Yo soy cubano. Yo aprendí a hablar español cuando era niño, chiquito. ¿Tú sabes? Entonces, imagínate, yo hablaba español cuando era niño. Entonces, yo después aprendí el inglés cuando estaba en la escuela. Entonces, para mí es mucho más fácil venir para acá y hablar en español. ¿Para qué coño voy a ir a otro país a empezar a hablar otro idioma que yo no entiendo? So what I was just basically saying is, like, again, you know, Spanish was my first language. That's what I learned when I was at home. I eventually learned English when I was in school. So for me personally, why would I go to another country to learn another language and another culture and all this other crap when I could just, come here and speak Spanish. And, it's a similar culture. So anyways, ya tu sabes. Yeah, anyways, yeah, no, I like to bust out the Spanish from time to time. I know you guys, always wondering. But at the end of the day, man, you know what I mean? Like, guys, man, women, whatever. Anyways, where's that? Anyways, at the end of the day, guys, look, it's, you got to stop, you got to stop contemplating, okay, what you're going to do and start figuring it out. Because as you guys already, again, as we were talking about at the very beginning of the show, and as you guys are fully aware of right now, it's only going to get more and more difficult for you to leave. And again, it's not even about the consulate and the residency. There's many factors. Again, try, crossing the border, okay? Remember, that wall that they're building, it doesn't matter who's building it, okay? They're all building it, all right? But anyways, that wall they're building is to keep you in, not to keep anybody from coming in. Again, where have you been the last couple of years? It's not to keep anyone out, okay? Everyone's flooding in like it's all good. But you try to get out to see how easy it is, okay? Try getting a passport if you have certain issues, legal issues in your past, or you didn't pay a certain thing, in the past, or you owe money to the IRS, or whatever it is. All right, try getting a passport. So again, it's not only difficult getting a passport for some of you guys, but then the difficulty that comes from leaving, the fact that, again, we've talked about it on the channel multiple times. Once you leave, you don't leave. Look, right now, I left. If I could renounce my U.S. citizenship, I would, but I can't. It's not that easy. On top of that, I got to do my taxes every year. You know what I mean? I got to make sure I'm on top of all these things. As a U.S. citizens, we have special privileges. We're the only country on earth where we got to pay taxes no matter where we are. So it's not just the taxes. It's not just the passport. It's not just the leaving. It's not just, all these other things. It's difficult for an American, a U.S. citizen, to open up a foreign bank account. It's not difficult for a foreigner to open up a foreign bank account somewhere else, but for an American it is. And again, there's so many difficulties. On top of that, again, you got to detach yourself from the USA. So if you got family and friends in the USA, that's going to be difficult. If you have a job in the USA and, well, you either have to quit that or transfer it or, whatever it is. So there's so many things. Once you really start getting your list together and start getting everything ready and again, you decided I'm leaving, I'm going to sell my house or sell my car, so start doing all these things, you quickly realize how difficult things can actually be. All right, and it's not that easy. And so for me personally, I didn't have anything. You know what I mean? Like, again, I sold. I lived in a room with a bunch of roommates in LA at the time, and so I ended up having to, just sell the few things that I had. They all were in that room, so I either sold it or got rid of it. And basically I filled a couple suitcases, with clothes and my laptop and a few, things like that. And then that's it. I rented an Airbnb out here, and I just flew out here. And by the time I paid for my flight, paid for my Airbnb, took care of all the things that I had to take care of, I landed here with $1,500 to my name and just a few bags. And it was difficult, but it was a lot easier than if I were to have, I had to move my family, okay? Or if I had, a whole house of stuff, or if, okay? It starts getting more difficult. So, like, the less you have, the easier it is to make these transitions. But it's also difficult because you have less resources. Now, the more you have, well, yeah, the more resources you have, but then the more stuff you also have. And so it can get complicated on either end of the spectrum there. So wherever you land on the spectrum, meaning if you have nothing, like me, when I first came out here, it's going to come with this set of challenges. Or if you have a lot of stuff, or you have a lot of things tying you down to the USA, that's going to also come with a set of challenges. So just keep that in mind. Because when I first came out here, I came with nothing. But now, I got a wife, I got a horse, I got a dog, I got a garden, I got all these things. So now, even if I were to, let's say I want to move, to another state or another country, now I got to deal with all that. How am I going to transport my dog? What am I going to do with my horse? What am I going to, all these things that I've built, oh my God, now I'm going to have to abandon my garden. And now I got to get rid of all this stuff because, the further away I go, well, the less stuff I got to have in order to make that move easier. And so it gets difficult. I totally understand. This is why I'm constantly talking about this and constantly mentally preparing you guys, for the inevitable. Okay? Because it's going to come a point where you got to make a decision. And right now, with what happened on Saturday, the thing is look, again, if you want to know exactly what I have to say and think about what happened on Saturday, join me, okay, on my other channel. As soon as I'm done with this live stream, we're going to go live over there. All right, I'm going to put a thing in the description. I'm going to put the link in the chat so you guys can, go check it out. Because, again, there's only so much I can say on this channel, all right, for obvious reasons, okay? But what I was saying is that, this Saturday, if Trump's head, the way everything could have changed, okay? Everything could have changed dramatically if Trump would have moved his head or not moved his head, okay? And so imagine if it would have been the end on Saturday for him. How that would have turned everything into turmoil, the whole country into turmoil, okay? You think it's difficult now to leave? Imagine if, there's some civil war or some sort of, civil unrest, or it's really, really, really crazy out there. Or right now, what is Biden saying he wants to do? It's like, oh, hey, I got COVID. We all got COVID. We're going to close it all down again. I could go on and on. So, within the blink of an eye, like that, you might not be able to leave. Not even leave the country. You might not even be able to leave the house. Again, this happened a couple years ago. This happened not that long ago, a few months ago. So what makes you think that they're not going to do something like that again? And now, as everything keeps getting crazier and most people are starting to figure it out, you're starting to see why they're really shutting everything down, or they have the wall, or they have all these measures, or more law and order, or whatever it is. It's really just to keep you put, okay? To keep you there, to keep you, as, again, you got to be generating money for them, one shape, form, or another. Whether you're on the street collecting, okay? Collecting your government handout, or you're in a jail, or you're a worker bee, working some mindless job, right? Regardless, they need you in your position, okay? And every body counts, every head counts, right? We're all in this together, and all that stuff. So just keep that in mind, okay? There's a reason why they want you there, okay? There's many reasons why they want you there, but that's neither here nor there. The point is that, you can also live as a U.S. citizen abroad. You can be somewhere else. You don't have to be there, but it's up to you whether you're going to do this or not. And stop thinking about it, because, again, when are you going to decide to do this? When you're not allowed to do it? Well, that's a little too late. You got to do it now. Some of you guys don't even have a passport yet. Come on. Seriously? What are you waiting for to get a passport? What are you waiting for to formulate your plan? What are you waiting for to, put all this into action? It's going to take time. It's not going to be easy. You got to plan. You got to get things in order. You got to do things. Okay? Now, again, you could still do some of these things with your back up against the wall, and, be forced to do these things. That's how I ended up here in Mexico. And that could also be what you're waiting for. You're probably just procrastinating, up until you don't have a choice. But again, when I was, when my back was up against the wall, it was still in 2018. Nothing was going on. So I was able to, leave, no problem. But nowadays, in today's world that we're living in, things have changed dramatically. And it's not that easy. It's not that easy. Like I said, some people are having trouble getting a passport. Some people are, it's so many things. And so obviously, as the economy gets better and you're on the bottom rung of that economy, I was a cook, my whole life. Robots do my job now, for crying out loud. But anyways, I was on the bottom rung of this for a very long time. And that the poorer you are, the more expensive everything is. okay, and the more difficult everything is. So as they continue to make you poor, okay, by the devaluation of your currency, the dollar, the Canadian dollar, whatever, by working you more hours for less pay, everything being more expensive. And I could go on, but that dynamic is only getting worse. Well, that means that your resources are getting thinner and smaller, and you're not going to have as many, resources to tap into when it does, come to deal with a situation like this where it is like moving abroad. Now, again, if you are a single female, a single male, just a single human, it's a lot easier to make this move. But if you are with a partner, maybe it can now all of a sudden might complicate things. If you have a family with kids, if you got dogs, cats, it gets really complicated, and I can go on and on. All right. And so, and then once you get here, you got to learn everything from brand new again. You're the immigrant. Now you're the foreigner. So just like all the immigrants that are flooding into the U.S. right now, and they got to learn everything from scratch. They could be a doctor in Mumbai, all right? But now when they come to the USA, they're driving a taxi. Well, you're going to be in a similar situation. And the longer you wait, the more difficult it's going to be for you, because the floodgates are going to be the opposite. Now there's going to be even more of you guys coming out here. And now all of you guys are all going to be battling for the same amount of finite, small amount of resources that Mexico will have to give you. Because, not everyone's going to come out here and have a lot of money and be able to just, flaunt that cash and live, that's a certain high-end lifestyle. Most of us, we're poor working class. And we got to figure that out. How are we going to, continue doing that out here? All right? So not everybody can be a YouTuber. Not everybody can be a digital nomad. All right? So some of you guys are close to retirement, but you can't retire just yet. And so you don't really have any money coming. I mean, every person has a different situation. So you got to, again, plan accordingly with whatever your situation is. And you got to figure out a solution to your problem. Me and this channel, okay? Me and my horse, we try to help you guys out with that. But at the end of the day, you're the one that has to solve that problem. Nobody else is going to solve it for you. I might be able to provide information and help, okay, for you to, make that transition as easy as possible, but it's still going to be difficult. Don't kid yourself. But again, the question I'm always telling you guys to ask yourself is, what is going to be more difficult? To stay in the situation you're in right now, or to move abroad, to move to another country and start everything from brand new? You already know it's not going to be easy. You got to move, learn another language, figure out your job situation, figure out the culture, the neighborhoods. Like I said, the list is long, okay, of things that you got to do. But if you stay in the USA, well, you got to deal with the fact that, you might end up on the street. You might end up living out of the car. You don't know if your job's going to be available tomorrow. You don't know if you're going to be able to get another job. Again, you don't know if they're going to increase your rent. You don't know if they're going to take away benefits. You don't know if you can get shot. I can go on and on. So, it's just, so as things get more difficult, it's also going to get a lot more difficult, for you, to get out. So this is where you got to plan accordingly. Plan while you still got resources. Figure out a solution while you can still put that plan into action. Okay? So, but yeah, so it is what it is. All right, hold on. Let me play a little music. Let me go through the chat, see what you guys have to say. Shout out to you, Keith. Congratulations on getting your residency. Elizabeth Castro says, I've heard some say that if you're poor in the USA, you'll be poor in Mexico. Yeah, but again, it means very different. Again, I make $1,500 US a month. Okay? If I was in the USA, $1,500 a month is enough to live on the street in a tent and buy myself some drugs. That's it. You know what I mean? What if I mean? What am I going to afford? What? I can't afford to rent an actual place. I can't afford to, have a car. I can't afford many things. Okay, but 1,500 out here is plenty. For me to, if I want to go to the grocery store right now and buy myself 2 T-bones for dinner tonight, I can do that. I got a roof over my head. I can pay all my bills. I can go on and on. So I'm building credit. My credit score in the USA is like negative 389. Well, I'm actually have positive credit here in Mexico that I've been building, by just simply doing the same thing that I would be able to, that I would have done in the USA if I would have had the resources, which is get a credit card, use it, pay it off, no interest. I can do those things here. So yeah, I mean, I'm poor here, but I mean, are you kidding me, man? I'm very, very happy. Again, look, like Bob Marley said, okay? They asked him, "Hey, Bob, are you rich?" And Bob Marley said, "Rich in what? I'm rich in life. I mean, I got monies, but I'm rich in life." Okay, so I know I'm butchering the whole thing, but the idea is that, okay? I'm rich in life. In the USA, I was not rich in life, okay? I had no life, okay? Nothing, all right? But it's easier, for you to have a higher quality of life here with less. So yeah, I'm poor here, but I'm happy. By the way, don't forget to hit the likes. Don't forget to subscribe, all that stuff. Lynn says, "It is not easier for single women. Please stop lying. If you cannot meet the financial..." Anyway, so we've already talked about, how you can get your residency, without financial solvency. I have actually interviewed single women, okay, multiple times on my channel. You can watch those interviews and, they'll tell you straight up, that it's amazing living out here as a single woman. So, yeah. It is what it is. I know someone else in the chat was saying, I like to, troll the trolls. Anyways, I love all the engagement, so I don't care. That's why I don't have moderators or anything. You guys, type whatever you want. I don't care. I mean, all you're doing is helping more people discover the video. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Okay. But yeah, even people saying like I bash the USA. I'm not bashing the USA. I love the USA. I'm all about the USA. It's just that the USA right now is not what the USA was. The USA that the USA that is, right now is not the USA I grew up with. Is not, the freedom-loving, liberty-loving America, I was born and raised in. It's something completely different these days. So, anyway, so... Nah, don't leave the trolls. Let the trolls. They're bored. They got nothing else to do. Hold on. Grandma says, "Is there an area that has special education care for children with autism? Not sure the disorder even plagues the children in Mexico like it does in the USA." Well, so that you put up a, that's a great question, with a great follow-up, in the same question. But look, this is how it works, okay? Mexico is a first world country, okay? So yeah, they got schools, they got treatments, they got everything, for what is it? Autism, ADHD, DHD, WD-40, whatever you got or your kids got, they got treatment out here. Okay, they got all that here. But you make a great point. The people out here in Mexico, especially the children, they don't have, not every child in Mexico has autism or ADHD or whatever. Okay, in the USA, it's like every child has something. That's number one. Okay. Number two, the allergies. Another thing is like in the USA, every kid has allergies to something. Out here, I don't think I've seen anyone with an allergy to anything. So, and if they do have an allergy to something, it's more like, oh man, I got too close to that plant. Oh, now I'm itchy. That's it. Whatever. Um, Let me see. So yeah, so again, you can get your resident. Again, go fast forward to the beginning of the show if you're interested in residency and what you need and what are the options. Okay, I've talked about it multiple times on the channel. I'm going to continue talking about it because I feel that's one of the biggest concerns a lot of people have in the audience, or people that are thinking about moving to Mexico. That's one of the biggest and main concerns that they have is residency. So I'm constantly, I'm constantly combating, the false information out there as to, how difficult it is to get residency or not. It's actually very easy. It's very easy. Again, everything comes with difficulty, depending on who you are, what you're doing, all these things. Okay, will depend on how quickly you can get your residency or not. But long story short, anyone can get their residency. It's not difficult to get residency, so, and that's it. So it is what it is. If you don't want to believe, me or my lawyer or anyone else out there, that is basically facilitating people get their residency without proving any kind of financial solvency, then don't believe it. It's fine. It's your prerogative. It's your right to not believe any of these things. But if you just do a little bit of simple and quick research, you can just Google it, and you'll find, all the information you're going to need. And again, you can even contact your own Mexican lawyer, and or your own Mexican immigration facilitator, and they'll be able to tell you exactly what I'm telling you. So it's up to you. This is one thing I've learned, throughout the years, is that there's two types of people. The people that it doesn't matter how difficult it is, they want it, they get it. So again, like me, I wanted to leave the USA, and I wanted to live in freedom, and I wanted to be happy and have a better quality of life. So I just left. When I left, again, I didn't have anything to my name. The last thing on my mind was residency. The last thing on my mind was, making sure that, I was going to be able to, be able to stay in Mexico legally. I just needed to get out of there. And eventually, I would figure it out. And guess what? Eventually, I did figure it out. And that's it. Just like many immigrants coming to the USA or whatever country, and they just have to escape their horrible situation where they're at, and then they'll figure it out when they get there. And that's it. They do. And then there's other people that are always making excuses and creating reasons as to why they cannot do it. And then they fearmonger other people. Hey, I can't do it. You can't do it. We can't do it. This is what it says here. The end. And it's like, no, but that's not the only. And then another group of people, that I've found by living here, is that there are a lot of people that moved to Mexico, Americans, a long time ago, Americans and Canadians. A lot of people that have moved to Mexico throughout the years, and they went through a lot of difficulty, okay, in order to get their residency or to settle down in Mexico or whatever it is that they had to do. And especially back then, where they had to learn Spanish, there was no YouTube, there was no facilitators, there was no information on the internet, there was nothing. So they did it the most difficult way, which is they had to figure it out on their own. And they did. And now, in today's world, where they see people like me and other YouTubers and other information on Facebook, other information online, and all this other stuff, they are losing their minds because why is it that they had to do it the most difficult and hard way, and now all these people have an easier route or an easier way to get their residency? That doesn't make any sense to me. So to me, a lot of these pioneers, trailblazers, Americans, Canadians that moved out here a long time ago, they feel like a certain sense of entitlement and elitism, that, the only way that you can make it out here is that you had to do what I did. And if you can't do what I did, then the door's closed for you. Hey, but John, I heard online and, my lawyer advised me that I can actually get residency quickly. Oh, no, that is illegal. But it says it right there in the Constitution that it's legal to do this and do that. So that's what I'm saying. It's like a lot of people out there that are just negative Nancy's, or they're sour pusses, or whatever it is you want to call them, Karens, whatever. And that's all they do. All they do is that, they want to poo-poo on your parade. They, went through whatever difficulty it was, in order to do what they had to do. And now they wish that it could have been easy for them to do XYZ back then, but it wasn't. And now you have an easier way, and they don't like it. They're jealous. They're upset. They, whatever it is. And so, there's, again, the people that are going to make it happen no matter what, the people that are always going to be filled with excuses, and then the people that are just poo-pooing, okay, on everyone else's parade, or poo-pooing on everyone else's thing. So, whatever. And that's it. So, it's up to you. You know what I mean? Like, in the audience, look, why I don't, like, for example, someone like Lynn Cast or whatever, by the way, you guys can hide her or block her if she bothers you. But you know why I don't, censor anybody or block things like that or whatever? It's because it's as simple as this. If you are in the audience and you're dumb enough, okay, to believe some random comment from some random page with some random troll, telling you XYZ, and not listening to yourself, not doing the research yourself. Again, I'm not even saying listen to me. Okay, I'm not saying, listen to me over her or them. No. It's up to you to do your own research. So if right now you're getting conflicting information, and you want to move to Mexico, and you want to believe Jose and Lambo, that you can move to Mexico, well, you can just Google it real quick, and you can find, and all the myths will be dispelled. But if you are unwilling or unable to do a quick Google search, well, Mexico's not for you. Again, if you can't even Google search something as easy as, is the R&E program real? What other ways can I get residency? What is the weather like? And if you can't even just Google simple things, maybe Mexico's not for you. Maybe just stay where you're at. But I think most people out there, and especially in my audience, there are people that are, you guys are people that are willing to do whatever it takes to make it happen. Okay? No one's going to do it for you. You know that you got to do it for yourself. And this is why I provide all this free information, so that you can do it for yourself. Or at the very least, if you got to hire somebody to help you with XYZ, well, now you can check on them to make sure that they're actually doing their job. Or things are going correctly. You don't get scammed. You don't get the runaround. You don't get, so, and that's it. That's all it is. So, and there's people that are going to be unhinged. Again, this is why a lot of you guys are looking to leave your situation, because you are filled with a bunch of unhinged individuals. The thing is like in the USA, for example, these unhinged, people, they're just, basically toxic and creating a toxic environment for you and your whatever. When they end up coming out here to Mexico, that shit doesn't fly out here. And they quickly realize that. So when they're out here and then they try to act like a Karen to you, they try to be authoritarian to you, they try to, again, lie to you, whatever it is, you can just simply brush them off, and that's it. And if they attempt to even, cause any harm to you, well, then you can cause some harm to them legally. And then, a lot of people just don't like that. They don't like, they don't like the fact that you actually have real freedom out here in Mexico. So, it's up to you. It's up to you what you want to do. And again, you got to make your own decision. If you can't think for yourself, maybe it's not a good idea for you to leave the country. Maybe it's best if you just stay where you're at on your couch. Okay? But you got to be able to have the ability, okay, to not just think for yourself, but to make decisions for yourself, make difficult decisions, put in the work. There's a lot of things that you got to do. Okay? And it's as simple as that. Is the weed good in Merida? Yeah, weed's good everywhere. It just depends on what you're looking for. Again, it's expensive. But you can get really, really, really cheap stuff as well. So it's all, the thing is, remember, that whole market isn't really set up yet, okay? But hopefully with Claudia Scheinbaum, finally, they'll be able to set that system up because it's already legal. So it's all about setting up the infrastructure so that, you can finally go out there and buy it at a store, just like, you go to a liquor store. So hopefully soon, hopefully by this time next year, there'll be like things like dispensaries open, just like they have liquor stores. So, but we got to just wait right now. It is what it is. In some states, it's hard to get. In other states, they already got a system set up and you can even get it delivered to your house, just like you get your Uber Eats. So just depending on the state, depending on, many factors. But long story short, it's moving forward. It's just that, once you're in Mexico, you realize how slow things move in Mexico. So this is no different, okay? So it is what it is. Another thing is the let me see. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm reading some chats. I'm sorry. I'm just reading some of you guys talking there. See if there's anything good to talk about. Grandma Peaches says, I visited in 2018 and 19. I misplaced my old passport, but I have a new one. However, I have not traveled on it yet. Will your attorney or facilitators be able to help me out with the RNE visa? Yes, that's a great question. As I was saying earlier, you are already in the system. So even if you don't have your passport, by the way, the last time I had him on the show, he explained it thoroughly and with more detail. But long story short, if you're in a situation like Grandma Peaches, okay, in which you've been to Mexico in the past, but you don't have a passport with the stamps on it, whether you misplaced it or you never got a stamp or whatever, there's many situations that could arise. Remember, the Mexican immigration system already has you in the system. So what happens is that when you're going to go and get the RNE program, but you don't have your stamp on your passport, then you have to, I forgot what it's called. It's like some Spanish name or term for it. But basically, you got to fill out some paperwork and they have to do a formal inquiry into the immigration database to make sure that you have been in Mexico. And once that formal inquiry is done, it gives you, it gives them the proof that you've been in Mexico. And now with that proof, that is how you get your residency. You get your 4-year temporary residency. Okay. So yeah, but again, Grandma Peaches, if you're in that situation, it's a little bit more complicated, meaning that you need to hire a facilitator. So yes, contact Jose Novello and he'll be more than happy to help you out. Because if you're in a situation like that, unless you know Spanish and you know it very well and you know how to talk to these people, whatever, that's the only way that you might be able to get that special, proof. Okay. But if you don't speak Spanish and you don't know how, a bureaucracy works out here, and I can go on and on, well, this is going to be more difficult. So you're going to need somebody to do that for you. All right. So, Layla Turner says, did you already talk about moving to Mexico with a job, work visa? I am a teacher and researching a move. I have videos on the channel talking more in depth about that subject. But long story short, my advice to everyone out there is to have a job before you move out here. So you can inquire, okay, with Mexican companies if they need someone like you to work for them. So if that's the case, well, they'll be able to get you a work permit, and then they'll sponsor you, and then you'll be able to get your residency, okay, or at least, some sort of FMM visa in order for you to enter the country and be in this country legally, and then eventually you'll be able to get your residency. But again, if you're going to work for a Mexican company, you better speak Spanish. And obviously, what they want you for is that you speak Spanish and you speak English and you have a skill. If you don't have any of those, if you don't have a skill that will translate well to Mexico, and by the way, don't forget to hit the likes and subscribe and all that. But anyways, if you don't have a skill that'll translate well, and you don't speak Spanish, it's going to be very difficult for you to have to get a job in Mexico. So this is where you would have to be a digital nomad. If you are a teacher, you can teach English online. You can. You don't need a degree. You don't need anything. Okay. But anyways, you can teach online, whether it's English, which is the easiest thing to do, or you can teach other things. Get creative. I know plenty of people that do tutoring. Okay. For kids, or they teach kids, how to play instruments. Through Zoom calls, whatever. So you got to get creative out there. Okay. Or you can learn to code and be a coder or whatever. There's many things that you can do, but you got to get creative and you got to figure out your own situation, your own what works best for you. Okay. Let me see. What was I gonna say? Hold on. I'm sorry, I lost what you were saying. Anyway, so yeah, if you are a teacher, then, well, again, you got to, maybe you can be an English teacher here. You can teach English here. But, that's something you got to look into. It's not just, moving to, from Wisconsin to Minnesota and, just applying for another job. No, it's not that easy. Okay. The job situation can be difficult for some of you guys out there. So this is why you need to get that, squared away. Because if you don't have money, okay, if you don't have income coming in every month, if you don't have a job, if you don't have a pension, a retirement, if you don't got something, well, you're not going to last out here very long. You got to have money, and you got to have money coming in every month to pay your bills. So just FYI, all right? That's something that everyone needs to look into. By the way, shout out to Charlene Steele. I saw that you became a member today, so you're a new member. Shout out to you. I really, 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 really appreciate you. Thank you so much. And I appreciate everyone else out there in the audience that helps out the show. So all the members on YouTube, all the members that I have, on Patreon, Buy Me a Coffee, and so on and so forth. Everyone that sends a few bucks through the Cash App, through PayPal, however you send it, I really, 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 really appreciate you. All the super chats, all the comments with the super chats as well. I appreciate everyone in the comment section that's always leaving comments or helping other people out with information. And everyone. I appreciate all my all the people that love my content and all the people that hate my content. Again, share this video if you find it informative. Share it with a friend. Share it with an enemy. Share it with a frenemy. Whatever. You know what I mean? So anyways, shout out to all of you guys out there. Thank you, 300 Rivers, for the kind words. Quiet Resilience. Quiet Resilience asks, are there facilitators willing to meet someone at the border and pick them up, take them to INM, and then take them to the place to reside? So, yes, you know what I mean? But, again, I live in Mérida, Yucatan. So I live literally the furthest away from the U.S. border, okay? In fact, the closest border to where I live is Guatemala and Belize, okay? But long story short, if you are on the U.S. border, okay, or close to the U.S. border, I know for a fact, I have seen them. I don't know who they are, and I cannot vouch for any of them, but I do know for a fact that if you go to the Facebook groups, okay, Facebook expat groups, Tijuana expats, whatever, okay? Well, anyways, check out, the border towns, and yes, that exists. In fact, it's a lot easier for you to get this done if you are on the border. Like I said, if you visited Tijuana a few years ago, you probably already qualified to get your residency like that, and all you had to do was just visit, like I said, get some Chinese food in Tijuana, and before you knew it, that was already getting you your residency. So, yes, inquire within, okay? Inquire on Facebook and inquire with some of these people. Go with the facilitators that have the best word of mouth. Again, it's pretty easy to find out. Once you see them and you see your body of work, and you get to see all the happy customers that they've, it's pretty easy, for you to figure out whether, they're real or not. whether they're gonna, help you out or not. Because there are a lot of scammers out there, a lot of people taking advantage of others out there. So just be aware, do your due diligence. And but yes, you should be able to find somebody that does that service, because I know they exist. All right, so they're out there. So just you gotta do what you gotta do. All right. Letty says, Jose, how is the remote work doing in Mexico? Well, I mean, remote work can be done anywhere on the planet. So the question should be is like, how is remote work done? Or how is remote work as an industry doing? It's doing great. It's doing amazing ever since the pandemic. And well, more people have doubled down into that. That's a whole other subject and conversation. But yeah, you can, that's the idea, is to, come out here and do some sort of remote work. The work that I do is I make money from YouTube, and I make money from consultations. There's a lot of you guys out there that want to have one-on-one personalized consultations. So we do that. And so I get paid for that. So again, I work remotely, meaning, I make videos for YouTube. I have consultations, like like a business consultations, personal consultations, moving to Mexico consultations, whatever. Plus I make a few bucks, that trickles in from time to time, from, let's say, a sponsor, or someone buys a t-shirt, whatever. Okay. So that's how I make money. But since I'm more interested in, shout out to Belinda for the $20 super chat. Thank you. Cash App. Thank you very much. Shout out to you. Muchas gracias. Much appreciated. Thank you. Appreciate it. Anyways, Letty says, you're fluent in several languages, reading and writing, speaking, of course, and I'm very fluent in Spanish and English, of course. And yeah, you should be able to find plenty of jobs online. In fact, okay, sorry. I just, sometimes I forget all the information that I have. So, look, here, let me show you. Okay? Sorry, I apologize. My brain farts sometimes. Okay, go to my website. On my website, okay, I got all kinds of free resources, okay? But if you go all the way to the top, see it? Hold on. You see right at the top, I got digital nomad jobs, okay? And I got a list of, things that I found in, my travels online and on the internets. Here, I'm going to put a link in the chat. Okay. So long story short, you guys can see on my website, okay, I got a list of digital nomad jobs to at the very least get you started. But really, I mean, again, like someone like Letty, Letty can simply go on LinkedIn, and you can go on LinkedIn or other various websites like that and find jobs that you can do, either remotely, or you can work for a Mexican company or whatever. I mean, you'd be surprised what you can find out there. You know what I mean? So remember, I was just a cook. So it's not like I had like a degree or a master's or anything. I wasn't, I'm not an engineer. I'm not anything like that. If I was, any one of these things, I probably would have just been working remotely many years ago. And I probably never even would have started a YouTube channel. But since I was a cook, and I like to talk a lot, and I used to teach a lot, but teach people how to cook and all this other stuff. Well, all this kind of translated easy. I'm basically doing what I used to do, but now instead of teaching people how to cook, I'm just teaching people how to, move to Mexico. I don't know, or figure things out on their own. But I mean, I'm teaching you guys how to be self-reliant on yourselves, more. But anyways, as you guys can see here, I got links to teaching English, jobs, okay, Mexican jobs in Mexico. So Letty, for example, you can probably go to Indeed.com right here, okay? And you see it's in Spanish, all right? So let's say home office and in Mérida, see? It's all in Spanish, though. Okay, but anyways, like I was saying. So I got Indeed and Glassdoor for Mexican Spanish jobs. And then freelance, there's tons of freelance gigs. Not all of these links are going to be working. But, you can just, if one doesn't work, go to the next one. But But yeah, look at all these jobs, so you can do many things. Okay, so, all right. So this is at least will get you started on your path to being a digital nomad. Eventually, you might not want to be a digital nomad. Eventually you might not want to do any of these things. And, you might want to, I don't know, sell hamburgers, out of your house. You might want to start a little business, a print shop. You might want to do prints. You might want to make beads, or make jewelry and sell that. I mean, I don't know. It's up to you. What do you want to do? So that's the thing. It's like Mexico is like the land of opportunity right now. If you want to live that American dream, it's not in the USA. It's in this part of America, in Mexico, because Mexico is America, right? Okay. So, yeah. Like, again, the more skills you have, the better. Mexico's looking for a lot of high-skilled workers. But at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to work for, Oracle. Or you're not going to be able to work for Microsoft. Or you're not going to be able to work for any of these companies that probably have headquarters here in Mexico unless you know Spanish. Who knows? You might, know Spanish. You might also work for Tesla in the USA, and you don't want to be in the USA anymore. So you'll basically ask, your superiors at the Tesla factory in Texas, hey, do you have any jobs in Monterrey? Do you have any jobs in Mexico? Do you know what I could do over there? It's like, oh yeah, we don't have any Tesla jobs in Monterrey, but we got a very similar job where you can work for Starlink over there in Guadalajara or Mexico City. Would you be interested in that? So you gotta see what's out there. Again, everyone's different and everybody has different skills and situations. So let me see. Yeah, so you could do drop shipping. There's a lot of people that do drop shipping. There's a lot of people that have online businesses that they just move their online business from the USA to here. There are people that start an online business here, start their own business here. Some people steal from eBay. I mean, it's basically, you got to just figure out what works best for you. So, for example, if you are, you buy and sell things from eBay, well, your biggest hurdle is figuring out your shipping. How are you going to ship things out from Mexico to the rest of the world? Or if all your customers are coming from the USA. And there are companies out there, again, you can sell through Amazon. There's a lot of things that you can do out there. But you got to get creative and you got to figure that out like I did. Look, again, for me being a cook, if for whatever reason, again, knock on wood, nothing happens. But again, for whatever reason, I can't do any of the things that I do right now anymore. And I can't be online. I can't do videos. I can't do anything. It's fine. All I got to do is just open my door and put a few ads out. And I'm selling hamburgers. I'm selling hot dogs. I'm selling Cuban food. I'm selling whatever food related. That's what my business was. That's what I used to do my whole life. So again, if you are in a similar situation, you could do the same thing. You can come out here and sell real, authentic Philly cheesesteaks. Just like if you're in Philly right now, and you see a real Mexican selling real authentic Mexican tacos, you're definitely going to want to eat there instead of Taco Bell. So it's the same thing. If all of a sudden a Mexican sees, a real American selling real American hamburgers or McDonald's, they're going to pick you over McDonald's. So it's just, it is what it is. So. Letty says, once I buy a house in Mexico, can I keep chickens in the backyard? Yeah. Yeah. And a garden. Yes, of course. Yeah. I know in the USA, it's illegal to have a garden and it's illegal to have chickens and it's illegal to, I get it. No, out here you can have chickens and bears. Oh my. All right. So no. I mean, no bears. I don't know if you can have a bear in your house. Maybe, but you can definitely have chickens. But again, the thing is, it's like legally you can have chickens, but maybe your neighbors don't want you to have chickens, So you got to deal with your neighbors, okay, in your neighborhood. And you got to make sure it's okay for you to have chickens. Or not, you can still have them whether that's okay or not. But then you got to have a dog to protect the chickens, for example. Protect them, not eat them. But anyways, the point I'm making is that, Yeah, you can have a garden. Yeah, you can have chickens. Yeah, you can have all that. In fact, in many parts of Mexico, it is encouraged. It might not be encouraged, for you to have chickens or, like a whole, little mini farm in the middle of Guadalajara, or Mexico City. But, in other areas that are more rural, or have more space, then yeah, you can do that. Most Mexicans do it already. So. Anyways, wow, okay, I just saw the time. Okay, I gotta get going. I gotta get going soon. Okay, so we're gonna start wrapping this bad boy up. So for anyone out there, any last minute questions or comments or thoughts, let me know. And we can go from there. Yeah, so out here in the U.S., out here in Mexico, they have community gardens all over the place. In fact, whenever you are trying to buy land, and they say, oh, that land is ejido land, that's community land. So basically that land belongs to everyone around the area, and they use it for community garden or community grazing of animals or whatever it is. Okay, yeah, I gotta get going soon. It's about to rain. I gotta get some my clothes from the hanger there. I think that's it. I mean, I don't know if there's any other questions or comments. I think we're gonna just wrap this bad boy up so I can get ready. So again, guys, I'm not going anywhere. I gotta end the live stream on this channel. I'm gonna be talking about what happened on Saturday on my other channel. So for anyone out there that wants to hear what my thoughts are on what happened, please go check it out over there. I might go live a little earlier. So it says I'm going to go live in an hour, but I might go live within half an hour. So just go over there and wait for me, and I'll be live as soon as I can, all right? I'm not losing weight. I think I'm getting fatter. It might be the camera, but thank you. And yeah, these are new glasses, but I need more new glasses. That's another story. Yeah, and by the way, I also want Taco Bell. I miss Taco Bell, all right? You'll never find a Taco Bell in Mexico. I have not been to San Cristobal. No, not there, no. What do I think about living there? Well, I don't know. I mean, a lot of people love living there. I heard many beautiful things about it, but I got to go visit. But everywhere I've visited, I've loved. I love Oaxaca. I love Mexico City. I love Guadalajara. I love Tijuana. I love, basically everywhere I've visited. I wouldn't live in Mexico City, but I would live in Guadalajara. Guadalajara is more like LA, spacious, big. So I like that. I don't like the cramped, Mexico City style, which is like New York. Not a fan. So yeah. But anyways, all right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap this bad boy up. I think we're done here. So again, guys, I'll see you on the other channel. We're going to be talking about all of that, so you can hear exactly what I have to say, what my thoughts are on the situation, because I know a lot of you guys are extremely curious. And this is why I got that other channel. This is why I got Jose Unleashed, because on that channel, I talk about, what my real thoughts on what's really going on are. So for anyone out there that's really interested, you guys want to laugh, all right? Because, I try to keep it as lighthearted as possible. Well, you have to. Again, the clowns are loose, okay? Right now, the whole thing is a clown show, and we're being run by clowns. So you better laugh. You better laugh. Because if you're not laughing, you're crying. And I'm not going to. There's no crying in baseball, okay? So you got to laugh. All right? So I think that's it, guys. So, all right. I hope to see you guys there. I'm going to be going live half an hour, give or take, all right? So you already know the deal, all right? So anyways, I really hope that today's live stream was very helpful. It was able to, again, help give you that push or that extra information that you might have been missing or needed in order to make the move that you need to make already. Again, if you need more information, please check out the rest of my YouTube page. Again, you can go to my YouTube page, and all the way at the top here next to the store, you can search for anything. So for example, let's search for Residency. All right. And boom, right there, you get all kinds of videos talking about residency. Okay. And again, use this as your friend. Okay. So just type in anything. Again, work. Okay, see? I'm going to get all kinds of useful information. Okay, so please use my YouTube page, okay, as a useful tool where you can get tons of useful information. Again, you can also go to my my website. Okay, on my website, you're going to find all kinds of useful information. You know, not just my videos, but you're going to find, again, things like, you know, the digital nomad jobs. Okay, a whole list. Okay, you're going to find resources on moving to Mexico. You know, again, you know, how you can find the locals price. You know, I remember a lot of people are like, well, Jose, how are you paying $300 in rent? Again, watch that video, click on these links. You're going to find out exactly how I was able to pay $300, and you can pay something similar. You know, what you need to know before renting. A newer video that I uploaded recently, but again, you guys, you know, don't care about this stuff, but I highly suggest that you guys watch this video. Again, top 20 questions I get about moving to Mexico. So again, a lot of the questions, you know, that I'm constantly answering, I'm answering over and over and over again. Please watch that video for more information. If you need a banking solution, we got the Dollar app. I don't want to hear it. I know there's a lot of people talking crap about the Dollar app. Again, you got to use this just like everything else, okay? Use it at your own risk, okay? Nothing is risk-free, okay? If that's the world that you want to live in, I got some news for you. It doesn't exist, okay? But anyways, if you need a banking solution while, you know, you're trying to figure out your solution out here for banking, you can use that. If you need an apostille, whatever, you know, because some of you guys need an apostille for certain transactions out there when it comes to immigration. If you need a portable translator, it's going to help you, you know, talk to another language. If you need to know how you can learn to code, okay, so you can do remote work no matter where. If you want to live in Antarctica and, you know, be a remote worker, you can do it. If you need information on residency, okay, you can watch that video. Digital nomad jobs. Learn how to learn Spanish for free, so you can go to Duolingo. And then if you're moving to Mérida, Yucatan, where I live, Mérida, Yucatan specifically, well, I got information there, so you can contact Stephanie if you need a personal assistant, you know, housing services specialist, translator, whatever. If you need a vet or a groomer, you know, this is the person that basically gives Gizmo a bath, which reminds me, I gotta call her. He stinks. You know, Gizmo's starting to stink again. It's because of the rain and the weather, and you know, dogs. My dog is one of those that loves, you know, to hang out in the mud, in the rain, in the dirt. Anyways, Jose Novello, again, for anyone out there that needs help with the R&E program or any other residency situation. If you need to buy a house, if you need to know more about taxes, about business, again, if you're doing real estate out here, highly suggest you reach out to him. He sells real estate as well, but you don't have to buy real estate from him. It's always best that if you're going to buy real estate from somebody, you got to get a third party individual, you know, someone that is not representing anybody and maybe representing you, if anything, to make sure that the contract is real, that, you know, the house that you're buying is real, that all these things are real. Again, if you're buying a house from somebody and then they insist on using their lawyer or their whatever, and they do not want a third party individual to get involved, do not buy that house. Do not get involved. Do not have any transactions there. Okay? So again, right now, if you're going to buy a house off of Joe Schmo, they shouldn't care if you bring your own lawyer to the table. Okay? In fact, they should be, you know, very happy that you're doing something like that. But anyways, long story short, you know, he's there not just for immigration, okay? His specialty is real estate and taxes and business law, okay? So this is why I know a lot about business and what you can do out here, what you can't do, work, all that shit, okay? So he go with that. If you need glasses, you need a dentist, I gotta do new videos on those and so on and so forth. But yeah, you know what I mean? You know, favorite places to go, restaurants, whatever, okay? But anyways, all right, that's it. Okay, I'm a shameless plug of the website. If you want to set up a personalized consultation, you can click on there, okay? It'll tell you what to do. If you want to hear my show, Jose Unleashed, you know, where I'm going to be in about half an hour, all right? If you want to hear The audio version, you can click there. You can also find me on Spotify. All the links are in the top right above my head there. Christian's artwork, I know a lot of you guys are interested in her artwork and her website, so you can come and check it out. Okay, so what else? Support the show for those of you guys that want to help and support the show. All right, shout out to the $20 sent by Cash App. But again, if you want to help the show, you can do that there. And that's it. List of digital nomad jobs. Right next to digital nomad jobs, we got Cheems. You can buy a t-shirt if you're interested in that, a mug, whatever. I took this picture before I left California. That would have been me. All right, that would have been me if I never made it out to Mexico. All right, I would have been living right there. All right, on Venice Beach. So, with all that being said, guys, I think that's time for me to get out of here. So, guys, you already know the deal. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to please like, please subscribe, please share, please hit the bell icon. But more importantly than anything else, please stay awesome. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys. Hey, how's it going, Hanson? You made it a little late. I'll see you in the next one, all right? We're going to be over there in a few minutes, all right? So, you already know Hanson's going to be there. We already know the whole crew's going to be there. We're going to have some fun, and we got a lot to talk about. So, love you guys. Peace out, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.